All right. So I am going to do a quick recording. I'm going to do a quick recording on the script. And I'm going to break it down. I'm going to talk to y'all how to do the script and your tonality. Okay. So I'm going to go ahead and pull this information up. First thing first, the first thing first is that uh, the affirmation, what you become, what you think about. And so you always need to have a positive attitude. 90% of what you think about is determines who you are and what you do, right? And so you want nothing but positivity when you're talking to these people on the phone. So first thing first, when you pick up the phone, you need to have some confidence. If you don't have confidence, borrow mine, okay? And so be very, very confident over the phone. People like to talk to confident people because they believe that that person can give them the results that they desire, right? So say this out loud. I am so happy and grateful now that I just closed this sale, right? Now, if you're doing outbound call, you're going to hear people say from different places not to be energetic. If you're doing outbound call, especially outbound call, and especially if you're talking to people in the South, you need to be energetic, enthusiastic, and excited, okay? Standing up sometimes help when you're talking to a client, and then believe the person on the other end on the phone will be buying from you and they're gonna buy today. All right. So first thing first, we're gonna, the introduction. The introduction is so important. Do not get hooked, do not get a hiccup or on the introduction, right? The first 5 seconds, so very important. So in the South, you gotta make sure you say Mr. or Mrs. If you're in the North, does not really matter that much, but I still say Mr. or Mrs. until they tell me don't. Okay. So Mr. or Mrs. First thing is first. Hey, Mr. John, how you doing? Right. And so if it's a woman on the phone, on the lead, if it has Williams, I'm gonna say, hey, Mrs. Williams, how you doing? Because I want to assume the other person on the other end is the spouse. Okay. So hey, Mr. John, or hey, Miss Mary, how you doing? This is Sheena, and you may not remember this, and I apologize. Y'all stay away from those saying the word. This is Sheena from Senior Life, right? As soon as they hear something like Senior Life or insurance information, their guard is up. Their guard is up. They realize, oh, this person's trying to sell me something. Well, people like to buy, they just don't want to be sold. All right. So look, this is just Sheena. You may not remember this, and I apologize, but you had requested some final expense information online, and we would just return your call to go to information with you. You remember doing it, right? You got to say it the way I said it, okay? The way I said it. You can't go really fast, which is you request some final expense information online, and we return your call to go to information with you. You remember doing it, right? So you're requesting some final expense information online, and we would just return your call to go to information with you. You remember doing it, right? So stay away from saying that you requested something off Facebook. All right. If it was a TV lead, you had called to one of our commercials, and we were returning your call to go over the final expense information with you. You remember calling us, right? Live transfer, a little different. Soon that call transferred over. This is what you're saying. Okay, give me a minute while I pull up your information that was sent to me. Now, before we get started, let me ask you what prompted your call today, and let them answer the question. Right? Do not answer a question that you do not want the answer to, or don't answer a question and you do not get the answer. You ask a question, get your answer. Right? So let me verify pieces of information that you provided to us. Then and so there where you're going to, you're going to verify like their information as far as their address. So I have the information going to go over with you. Okay. Now they say they're not interested. It may not be an objection. You may not get objection. They might go right into it. But if they give you some type of objection and they say they're not interested, you say, you know what? No problem. What exactly was on your mind when you reached out? If they said it was not interested, no problem. What exactly was on your mind when you reached out? And you have to say this quick, because these clients will be like, oh, I'm not. When y'all hear, oh, I'm not, no problem. What exactly was on your mind when you reached out? And they're not going to hang up the phone on me. If anything, I'm going to hang the phone up on them. Okay. They do not get the chance to hang the phone up on me first. If they do hang up the phone, what you can say is call them back. Because what would you do if you're a 10 times voter? If you're a 10 times voter, I am going to call this person back because I need you to talk to me. And so, what exactly was on your mind when you reached out? If they hang up the phone, I'm calling it back. I apologize. Miss Mary, did I say something to offend you? I'm going to act because I want to make sure that they feel kind of bad for hanging the phone up over me. Okay. All right. If they say they're already covered, already have insurance, congratulations, Miss Mary. I am so glad to hear that you have something in place for your loved one. This really wouldn't even make sense if you didn't have any coverage. Now, Miss Mary, about 90% of our clients already have something in place for their families. And we do things just a little bit different than other companies. What we basically do is discount your funeral costs between 30 to 80%. Right? So, and how's your day going? Miss Mary, let me just verify some information. You listed your address as 123 Main Street, right? Miss Mary, did you grow up in that area? I just, this is just you letting their guards down just a little bit, all right? And you also listed you as 73 years young. Right, Miss Mary. Miss Mary, you sound so young. Wow. Got to make these people feel good. I do not care if they sound old like a man or they've been smoking for 50 years. They sound young, okay? Because you do not know just that one compliment can probably save their life, all right? You don't know how well that can make that person feel, okay? So if they did not provide their birthday, you can ask them, so you're 63 years young, when is your next birthday? When is your next birthday? Okay. And so now, Miss Mary, when you contacted us, what exactly was on your mind? Let them answer. While they're answering, you should be writing things down. You should be taking notes, okay? And find out what was the reason why they called, okay? Now, Miss Mary, were you looking for yourself, your spouse, or someone else? Let them answer the question, okay? Pause and let them answer it. Now, do we need to get anyone else on the line to help you with this information? They probably going to say no. They don't need anybody else on the line. I already got to figure out. That doesn't mean you don't not answer that if they said, "Oh, I don't need anybody on the line," that does not mean you jump right into the slice. That doesn't mean that, because what you don't want them to do is at the very end, you do not want them to say, "Oh, I need to talk to my spouse." We're going to get all this information, all these objections that you have. We're going to get it out the way early so you don't come back and tell me that, okay? And so then goes to, if they, whatever they say, well, who opinion matters to you the most? They say someone's name, then to see if we need to get them on the phone right now. Well, let's go ahead and three-way them in so they can go ahead and hear us, okay? All right, now we're building up rapport. Miss Mary, are you married? Miss Mary, you married? And let them answer the question. Oh, wow, what's your spouse's name? Do not say your husband or your wife, because you don't know who these people are dealing with. What's the spouse name? All right. And you don't want to offend anybody. Oh, wow. So how long you been married? You want to know that answer. Because if they said 5 years, they may not be their beneficiary. If they say 5 years, they may not care if they died yesterday. They may or may not, right? Depending on the situation, but you want to know if this the first wife, the second wife, or the third wife, or the first husband, second husband, or the third husband. It matters, all right? And so you got to ask them how long they've been married. Wow, what is the secret? Y'all give these people a piece of you as well. If you're married, you say, you know what? I've been married for 3 years. So tell me what the secret is. Oh man, I aspire to be married. So give me some advice, all right? Give them something, all right? Because you want, again, bring their guards down. And so, Miss Mary, would your husband be your beneficiary? Let them answer, right? Miss Mary, you guys have any kids? I have 4 myself. What's your kid's name? Right? Again, if you have kids, tell them how many you have. If you give somebody a piece of you, they'll give them a piece of them. Okay? Why you need to give this, like these little nuggets to them, like that you have kids and that you're married, because you're gonna be asking these people for personal information. They need to trust you. People trust people who tell them about their family. They do, all right? Or tell them about themselves. All right. And so make sure you're writing all this information down. You know that they married, you know they spouse, you know they have children. Okay. And do you currently have a whole life or a term policy? Do not ask them, do they have life insurance? Do you have any insurance? They're gonna tell you yes or no. Or they're probably gonna tell you no. Or they might tell you yes. You want to know one or the other. Do you have a whole life or a term policy in place? And the reason why you want to ask this because that way you can know what to quote them towards the end. You can know how you can diagnose them. You can tell if you need to just give them a little bit more coverage or you need to give them a lot of coverage. Okay. So if they have a whole life or a term policy, they's like if they say, "Oh, I don't know the difference." Well, so you can ask them. You can kind of like you can ask them, "Well, is it like $100,000 or is it more like $6,000?" And so I do that so I can already determine how much coverage that they have. All right. If they say 100,000, we know it's a term policy. If it's a $6,000 policy, we know it's a whole life policy. All right. And so if they say yes, that they already have insurance, that they have a whole life return, great. What did you want this policy to do for you? Why are you asking this question? Because I need to know why did you fill out this information? And I don't want to hear that clients are not filling out information just to get a quote. They're not doing that. That doesn't even make any sense. You're not just checking to see how much it costs, just to see how much it costs. We're talking about death insurance. They want to know if they can afford it or not. They want to know if they can get it or not. Okay. So they need to know if they are able to, if they even need it or not. So when you reached out, what did you want this policy to do for you today? Okay. And Miss Mary, because now I'm pulling back the layers, because you're writing when they're talking to you, you need to also write this information down. So and why do you feel you need additional coverage? I need you to help me diagnose you. I need you to help me to help you tell me why did you feel like you needed to add an additional if the 10,000 that you had wasn't enough. Okay. This is why you're going to ask these questions. Do not skip over these questions. You got to ask it the way they're being asked, and you have to ask these questions line by line. You do not ask these questions line by line if you have not received that information in the beginning, and they haven't already told you, you're doing yourself a disservice to client, and you might not be able to close the deal. Okay. So if they already have coverage, great. How long? So how long have you been with them? Do not ask these people, do you mind telling me who's it with? If you asking somebody, do you mind, they're gonna mind. It also means you're not confident in even asking those questions, all right? So just ask them, great, how long have you been with them? If they say something, oh, I've been with them for some years, does that answer your question? It does not. You want a specific answer. And so you can say, oh, if they say, oh, for a couple years, okay, more like 2 years or more like 10 years. So they can tell me about how many years. If it's 2 years, okay, great. I still need to figure out why you're reaching out to us. If it's 10 years, great. That means that one, that you're 10 years older, and then the amount that they're paying, it definitely may not even exist today because that was 10 years ago. Okay. Okay, great. How much coverage do you have? Now, you may not have to ask that question if they already told if we got to this portion right here about do you have like a $6,000 or 100,000, they tell you, oh, I got $10,000. You don't have to ask that question about how much coverage do they have, because they already told you. If they didn't tell you, ask them, well, how much coverage do you have? Oh, I don't feel like telling you that. Okay, not a problem. Is it more like 10,000 or more like 30,000? They say 10,000, then we know they got 10,000. Some of them will even tell you that I have 8,000. All right. Now, because funerals have gone up 5% since last year, were you looking to see what you qualify for? Now you're going to fact find. All right. So, now were you looking just enough to cover your funeral, or affordable where you wanted to leave some money behind? Get the answer to that question. You want to know they're looking to enough so you can quote them. Do I need to get enough to get them their funeral paid for, or do I need to do enough for a funeral and leave some money behind, or just leave some money behind? Okay. Now, when you looking to get buried or cremated? Write that information down. So when you quote them, you're doing the legacy insurance, you're looking at caskets or you're looking at cremation. Okay. So Miss Mary, when did you start looking for coverage? Why is this question important? Because you need to know if the person was looking for coverage for 6 months or 2 days ago. Those things matter. 2 days ago, they're shopping around. 6 months, they have not made a decision. And we got to figure out why they have not made a decision. Okay. So we got to find out when did they start looking for coverage. Okay. And how long have you had your current coverage? How long have the other policy for? Again, you want to know, was it 2 years ago or 10 years ago? If they have insurance, you do not have to ask this question. If they have insurance, you don't have to ask that question. If they don't, you got to ask them, Miss Mary, how long have you been without insurance? And then you follow up with any reason why you haven't gotten anything in place. You want to know why they do not have insurance, and why have they got anything in place. That's gonna help you when you're wanting to put them in the casket. Because we got to see what's the reason, what's the holdup, what is the reason why. Okay. And so, Miss Mary, why now is this so important to you? It might seem redundant. So what, right? We got to pull back the layers. We got to get them to the point that we're going to make them really think and feel a certain way about not having any coverage at the moment, and what has happened for them to now think about it, right? All right. All right. So, okay. Now we're going to set the stage. Make sure I'm setting. Make sure this is saved. Okay, setting the stage. Good. So what I'm gonna do now is just ask you a few health questions just to see what plan I get you qualified for, as well as provide you with some discounts. Now, Ms. Mary, we do have a lot of people who love our program but not able to qualify for our best plans. Hopefully, we're able to get you pre-qualified today. Okay, specifying today because we want them to make a payment today. This is where you're gonna be filling out the slides. All right. You might either need to do a split screen or print this out. Okay, split screen and print this out. Otherwise, you'll be very confused if you do this all on the computer. Okay, so Ms. Mary, are you in a nurse? And when you ask these questions, this is not the time to be joking around. This is serious. We're serious. We're not joking around. We're not laughing. We're very serious. Now we're in the nitty gritty. Okay, if you want to joke around, you should have did that early on when you're building a rapport. Now it's time to get serious. Okay, Miss Mary, are you in a nursing facility? All right. Okay. Have you been hospitalized 2 or more times for anything significant in the past 10 years? Significant means stroke, cancer, heart attack, might be a blood clot or something of the sort. Okay, a headache, removal of the tonsils. That is not anything serious. And remember, it's 2 or more times. And while you're doing this, you should be on Zoom and sharing your screen so that your team lead can assist you. Okay. Any history or stroke or cancer. Okay. And then when the slice, it'll tell you within the past years, depending on if they say yes or no. Make sure you're being very careful with if they say yes, the next question gonna follow up. Have you been cancer free in the past 2 years? Make sure you say yes instead of saying no. If you're saying no, that means they just recently had a stroke. Okay. Now, any form of tobacco or nicotine use in the past 10 years. Now, the slide's going to ask you, do you use in the form of tobacco? But if you ask this question in this way, and then it's going to follow up with, have you used in the form of tobacco in the past 10 years? If you ask this question, you don't have to ask the second question, all right? So any form of tobacco in the past 10 years. If they say no, and hopefully they do, great. So you're going to qualify for a non-smoker discount, okay? Now, Miss Mary, I know we don't like to talk about it, but I got to ask, what's your height and weight, right? This is a playful moment, okay? This is a little playful moment. We don't like to talk about it, but what's your height and weight? And lastly, what prescription medications you're taking? Okay. Okay. If they aren't taking any medication, congratulate them for being so healthy. I think that's amazing. If they do, and they probably do, if they say anything like it don't matter, high diabetes, blood pressure, don't say it's okay, because it's not okay that they have medical health problems. Okay. So this point, you're gonna tonality. You want to lower your voice and talk slowly. Miss Mary, I'm gonna be honest with you. Because of the high blood pressure and the heart attack, it does sometimes raise a red flag with most companies. So I'm going to do my very best to try and get you approved today. Now, if I can't, don't be mad at me, okay? So, Ms. Mary, so I can qualify you for some additional discounts, do you bank with a local bank or a credit union? All right. Why am I asking this? So that I'm already preparing you to give me a check at the end of the call. Okay. I want to get your mind set up so I can also know that if they're paying me with a credit card or not. So I just need to ask this question so they know that this is going to cost them. Okay. That eventually they need to go in their back room and go pull out their checkbook. Now, if neither of them, if they say neither a bank account or credit union, you got to figure out how they get their funds. Okay, so all right. So are you like on Social Security or disability? They say yes on Social Security or disability, they're getting a check once a month. It's on a direct express card, a next bin, a chime, or a bank account. It's on something. Okay, you want to figure that information out. And this is why if they say they're not on Social Security disability, they mean they work and they at least get paid at least twice a month. Okay. So, Ms. Mary, while my system calculate, can you grab a pen and paper so that you can write this information down? Right. Let me go grab a pen and paper. Okay. Hopefully, you have to check with too. And so go ahead and give them your name, your agent number, and send your life number. Okay. Your name, your telephone number, and send your life number. And if you want to, you can give them your cell number, but I like them to go ahead and just send your life number. Okay. So on the slice, it's going to pull up like the plan and what they qualify for. Make sure you qualify from the best plan first, the first plan, and work your way down. If they over the age of 80, you can get them a platinum. Okay. Everybody else gets first the first thing that comes. Okay. All right, so great. I have great news for you, Ms. Mary. You qualify for our amazing program. Now, Ms. Mary, the most important thing I can tell you about this plan is that you qualify for first day coverage. So there's no two-year waiting period, right? If they are guaranteed, you're gonna say, Ms. Mary, I got great news for you. Wow, I can't even believe it. You actually qualify for one of our best plans. So Ms. Mary, even I say one of, because all of them are the best. We don't say the best, one of the best, because it is one of the best. So Ms. Mary, even though you told me you have you've had a heart attack, we're still able to cover you. Now, if you would have told most companies out there what you told me about your heart attack, you're probably going to be in the category uninsurable. Okay. So rather than us just outright deny your coverage, we're just going to make like a modified plan. It's basically like a savings or a layaway plan. That means that if you were to die in the 2 years of this plan, we'll just return all your premiums, plus an additional 10% after the end, and after that, then it pays the full benefit amount. Okay, if it's a 3 year, you say 36 months. Okay. All right. So let me tell you about our plan real quick. So we do offer our whole life. Miss Mary, you do know the difference between whole life and term, right? Okay. So your policy, and if they don't know, explain the difference. And so whole life, we know whole life is your entire life. Term, it cancels out at a certain time. There's maybe a 10-year, 20-year, 30-year, but it cancels out. It's term, it's temporary protection. Now, so your policy is like a permanent whole life plan. Your rate's gonna be locked in. Your policy will also double in the event of an accident. This is just not a term policy, so that means it's not gonna go up on you when you turn 80 or 85. This will just cover your entire life. Okay. As a matter of fact, if they ask you what happened when I turned 100, well, Miss Mary, all we're gonna do is send you a check for $10,000. Okay. All right. And so, Miss Mary, our primary focus is just to make sure your family has some money when they need it the most. Now, Miss Mary, when I finish speaking with you today, and God forbid something happens to you, will you be listing your husband as the beneficiary? Right? If they already asked, if they didn't tell you the beginning, you can ask that question. All right. So you can just confirm it. You will list your husband as the beneficiary, right? And say their name, John, as the beneficiary, right? And what is their number for as a mercy contact? And let them give your number. All right. So we're going to pay John within 24 hours once we receive the official notice of your passing. You know, some companies do take about 90 days. Now, Miss Mary, do you know why we pay our claims so fast? And then let her answer. Okay. And the reason you want to let her answer because you want to take her temperature. Okay. You want to make sure she's still listening. So, Miss Mary, most insurance companies takes about 6 to 8 weeks to pay out, and we understand that might be a difficult and emotional day for John. So, let's say when John walks into the funeral home, the funeral director is going to say two things, and they're really, really, really nice about it. But they always say, "I'm sorry for your loss, and how do you tend to pay today?" Right? You dealt with that before. Now they want to know how it's gonna get paid right away. So unless John has like $10,000 to $12,000 in his saving account, like he has something available, and 9 or 10 times, if he already had the other insurance, if you already have the other insurance, sometimes you have to assign that policy to the funeral home, and that basically allows them to increase the price by 4 to 10%. So this is like huge in the terms of a saving and protecting John from being taken advantage of. And that's why we pay these claims so fast. So we're gonna Senior Life gonna send a check directly to John within 24 hours so he do not have to deal with that burden. Now, don't you think that'd be helpful for John? Good. So we have a sister company also called Everlasting Legacy. What we do is provide your family with a high quality funeral merchandise, like at wholesale price. Like for example, you can get an 18-gauge steel casket and be locked in for $2,000 instead of paying like $6,000 to $8,000. You know how much casket costs, right? Cost between $6,000 and $8,000. Our vault's gonna be $1,000. Instead of 1,200, your headstones right at 850. They start at 850. So all together, these items gonna cost you about $3,800. Now, this cost is locked in for life, so to protect your family from inflation. So you don't have to worry about 20 years from later the price is going up. These are locked in. Okay. Now, if they say they're getting cremated, you just go over the high quality urns for $99. Okay. Typically urns cost about $400. So furthermore, what we do is provide our family with an advocate. We're going to help compare the prices of different funeral homes in your area. And so once your family chooses a funeral home, the legacy will advocate on behalf of your family to negotiate the price of the funeral. Depending on the funeral, we can typically get a $12,000 funeral down to about $5,000 or $6,000. And mainly, we can do that because the merchandise is wholesale, okay? But Legacy is the expert. They know how much funeral costs, and they are non-emotional, and the funeral home is less likely to take advantage of them than John, okay? Now, Miss Mary, how does that sound so far? How does that sound so far? Okay. Now, you have the advantage of pre-planning your final wishes through our online portal, so you can choose your casket, your vault, headstone, things of that nature. This way, when something happens, everything go ahead and be prepared. Okay. John only has to make one phone call to Legacy, and they will take care of everything else for him. Okay. Also, the funeral items, any funeral items taken care of through Everlasting Legacy also is shipped free of charge, so you don't have to pay for anything. And the funeral home is and they send it to him like the next day. Okay. Now, do you think that'll be helpful for John? Okay. Now, Miss Mary, because you are protecting your family today, You have 4 family members that will be allowed to receive the same locked-in rates for life and receive all the same benefits as you at no additional cost. Okay. So Everlisten Legacy also have like living benefits. So like you have 24/7 on-call doctors, discounted hearing aids, 15% off for orthopedic footwear, get diabetic supply, compression sleeves, and stuff like that. Okay. Right. How does that sound? Good. Right. So go ahead and pick a plan. Right here, you're where your three choices are, okay? You're good, you're better, and best, right? So depending on the plan, you can ask them, you need to look at what the prices are good, better, and best. And what you say to them is, so now let's say we have the right policy for you at the right price. What price range were you looking to stay in? If they say how much it costs, what you say in, so you're looking between, and you look at the lowest price, and the highest price. So let's say the lowest price was $28. All right. And let's say the highest price was I don't know, $200. So you could say you're looking in between $28 and about $200. Where do you see yourself fitting? Okay. So what you would say to that is, add it right here. And the reason why you say that, so to kind of give you an idea, it gives you an idea of, and also them an idea of what they'll be paying. Okay. All right. So do you have any concerns that you need to think about this very moment other than the price? All right. Now I do have some important questions for you. Now, have you ever had to plan a plan or like pay for a funeral or help arrange it? And then let them tell you about it, okay? Now, did they have some coverage, Miss Mary? And how was that experience with the funeral home? Now, do me a favor, Miss Mary. Paint a picture of what death might look like to you. Like when you pass on, like the kids gonna have everything in place. Are they going to have to come up with money? Like, what does that look like? And Miss Mary, if you die tomorrow, how would John pay for your funeral? And when they say he can't or he can, ask the question, and how does that make you feel? So, like on a scale of 1 to 10, how important is for you to protect John with a burial plan today? If they say something other than a 9 or a 10, you gotta ask them why not a 10. Okay, so get them those 3 options only: the good, the better, and the best. Right? And I had already asked this. I already put this up there. So, all right. So you already put the lowest. We already asked this question, but make sure you did that. Make sure you gave them the lowest to the highest, lowest to the highest. Okay. All right. And so this is only going to be, you have the good, the better, and best. So the 8,000 for whole life protection, and that's also including $8,000 for accident or death. So that's a total of $6,000, $16,000. That is only $62.55. You got to say only. Word only, okay? Because only means it's not a lot, okay? So make sure you're saying only, okay? All right. The next one, and then you get those 3 options. Once you get those 3 options, do not say anything else, okay? So here. All right. Um, so which one of these would you like for us to send the check to John? Those three options, would you like for us to send a check to John? And let them tell you. Now, if John wasn't available, who would the next person you trust to handle your affairs? And then what's their contact number as a second emergency contact? All right. The next thing you're gonna do is go to the maintenance name, the social, and add the social, and that's on the insurer tab. And so what you saw you say that is when you ask the social, so that your family will be able to identify you and to file a claim, go ahead and verify your social for me. And you want to get the whole number, all right? Because you need these people to trust you. So say that again so that your family will be able to identify you and to file your claim. Verify your social for me. Okay, and then verify your mother's maiden name. Okay, they're going to need this information when they file a claim, okay? Now, Ms. Mary, you're going to go to the payment information. We use a bank safety service plan that's going to protect your premium payments. Go ahead and verify the name of your bank for me again. Good. We also use that bank as well. We're able to use that bank. And so go ahead and look that account router number and you read it out to them. I have your router number listed as, okay. And I also just need you to verify your account number. Can you grab your checkbook for me? Okay. All right. Now, you know they got a bank because they told you early on. Okay. That's a demand, not a question. All right. Now, after today, when would you want your future payments to be? Do not give these clients an option. Do not tell them, can you pay today? And they tell you, if you ask somebody, can you pay today? You're going to say no. People say no. They're going to push it out. All right. And so after today, when do you want your future payments to be? Today is only going to be, and then reread them the premium, okay? Now we're gonna be mailing your policy to this address. And so that I can lock in your pre-approval rates, we're gonna go on a recorded line, okay? I'm just gonna ask you the same health questions. All I need is you say a yes or a no, no side conversation or any type of loud background noise, okay? What you're doing is, because you're about to go into the recording, you're coaching them. Only need to say yes or a no. Now it's going to be a two-part recording. One will be like the health questions. The second part is going to be everlasting legacy. It will mention $4. It's already included in your premium. However, you will see two separate charges on your statement, okay? So once you complete the recording, go ahead and save the documents to your file. Save the documents to your file, because if you don't save it, it's gone, right? I will also include this, but you have to do this before you do the recording. Go ahead and put the legacy, the legacy members on there. You can list one or two, but go ahead and put the legacy members in the application, okay? Now, your policy will be mailed in about 2 to 3 weeks. Now, Miss Mary, I'm going to call you beneficiary so I can introduce myself, since I'm going to be the first person they need to call you past. And you'll just let them know that we call them in the next couple of days or so. And also, Miss Mary, I just need 2 other people I can go this information with to help you with our referral program. Okay. All I need is 2. Okay. And this is how you're gonna be able to get referrals. Okay. Now, last question, Miss Mary, do you feel good about what we did today? You want to know they don't feel good about it. You might not just send that application in. You're like asking these clients they feel good about something. What it does, it let them know that, man, I can trust this person on the phone. I feel good about it and all that other good stuff. Now, Miss Mary, Senior Life going to be calling you in a few days just to see how well I service you. Now they're gonna be calling you from a 229-228-6936. That is a Senior Life. That's Senior Life local number. Okay, so you just need to save that number to your phone. Okay, go ahead and put in your contact. Now, will you be willing to give me a 5-star? Thank you. Now, Miss Mary, thank you for allowing me to be your person, the agent for life. I'm actually going to be sending you my card, and so that you can also list me as your family final expense agent. And also, I'll be sending you information as well in the mail. Okay. And now, Miss Mary, I appreciate you so much. Thank you for allowing me to be your agent. And I hope you have an amazing rest of your day. All right. That's it. That was a 40-minute conversation. Typically, presentation takes about an hour, a whole hour. So if it takes you finishing in 20 minutes, guarantee that person's going to this person's going to cancel your policy. Why would it take that long? Because we're dealing with death. You do not rush it. Also, this person giving you all their personal information, their social, their bank account. You don't want this to be a wham bam, thank you, ma'am. Do you? You want to take your time with these clients, okay? Now, congratulations on your sale. Go ahead and calculate how much you made within this next hour and then do it again, all right? Remember, two $35 checks is $70 a day, which is $2,000 a week, $8,000 a month, and that is $96,000 a year. You are now officially a six-figure earner. Congratulations. Watch this video again. Matter of fact, if you're a new agent, you need to watch it at least one time a day for the next 2 weeks. All right. I hope y'all have an amazing day. Congratulations to you. Take care now.